Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Live from Zarloth, a weekly improv newscast from the depths of space, hand-delivered to your ugly front door by Shoulder Knife. At this time, we ask that you relax, boot up your improbability drive, and enjoy. Long live Zarloth!
Good evening, subjects of the Empire. You are listening to Live from Zarloth. That's your number one resource for breaking news. I am Herc Dercules.
And I'm Ron Spackman.
And it is our honor to bring you tonight's top stories from across the cosmos. Oh, Ron, good to see you, my friend.
It's good to see you too, Dercules.
My good... I accept that. I think there's something kind of fun about the last name.
It has a professional tone.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I value more than professionalism.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, that pause had me wondering, had me processing some things. What if I called you Spackman? I'd be like,
I'd love it.
Hey, Spackman.
There's a lot of Spackmans you might be addressing, if you know what I mean.
I suppose... You got a big family, Ron? You got more? There are a lot of Spackmans out there.
Oh, there's a handful, and Dirk, I know you're coming from a little bit of a different kind of profession, but there's a lot of Spackmans who have been right behind microphones just like these for generations.
Do you know what I did before this?
I assumed it was manual labor.
I mean, look at me.
Yeah, you're
look at this.
Cut.
I am cut, but I am short. Even compared to the other Glorbonians, I appreciate you pointing out just how absolutely ripped I am.
Oh, absolutely cut. I say manual labor, I was implying like air vents, like you were cleaning ducts.
There was a time about when I was 4, I was climbing through the ducts and I was sweeping them out. That is something that I did. But what I actually did right before this was delivering coffee. Can you believe that? I worked. And the bottom floor of Live from Zarloth, I was delivering coffee.
Oh, from the ground up.
Ground up, here we are, sitting in the big seat.
That's actually beautiful. So this is a story of, dare I say, redemption, the triumph of the spirit.
You could call it a triumph of the spirit. As you know, I believe in something a little bit higher. I believe in my religion, of course.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think there could possibly be a sense of fate, a sense of destiny, and me climbing up through the ranks. And I worked hard, and there's nothing nefarious about it. It's just working hard work, as they say.
I'm just intrigued by the word nefarious.
Tonight's top stories. There's a lot going on here in the Zarlothian Empire. We are glad that you are here with us, Earthlings especially. We are just tickled pink that you are here.
We are. And as another little gesture of goodwill to our Earthling friends, from the world of arts and cultures, on your very own beautiful green and blue planet, many symphony-goers from Phoenix, Arizona left their evening performance confused. After the musicians began to consume their instruments on stage, the Phoenix Philharmonic was the first musical group of Earth to welcome multiple interplanetary species to their ranks, hiring several Turonians from the seventh moon of Tarragon, as they've been praised for their musical abilities. However, Turonians consider wood to be a delicacy, and due to the pre-show catering showing up late, the audience was treated to the sight of 4 priceless violins being eaten during Beethoven's Fifth. Now, presumably from an Earthling's perspective, this would be the equivalent of having a Wisconsin sculpt a man out of cheese. You're just not going to get very far.
And from what I've heard about this beautiful, sunny, warm place called Wisconsin, I think they could potentially be making people out of cheese. That doesn't seem so far outside of the bounds of reason.
Here's something that I feel many don't know is when you are behind the news desk, not only are you reporting these things, there's things we see that we don't even know how to put into the human tongue. Like,
How do you do it? How do you explain something so, as you would say, alien? It's just another Tuesday
Right.
for us up here.
the clouds of Tyrannicus.
Oh,
The way they absolve entire planets and change every guy into a gal, every gal into a guy when the planet travels to the other side. You can't explain that. Your mom becomes your dad becomes your mom. You have to wait another 7 years to travel back through the cloud to get it reversed.
how to explain a bunch of wieners becoming Veners in just 5 seconds? It just happens just like that. It's like a snap. It's like fairy dust. It's just things changing down there.
I don't know if I would have said it that way, but yes.
I think they get the idea. I think they understand what I'm saying. I've been learning a lot about, I guess you'd call them human euphemisms or idioms or allegories and anacronyms and the synonyms. And sometimes they have this beast called a thesaurus that wandered the earth a long time ago. I'm kind of lost in what I'm talking about right now, but I'd certainly like to meet a thesaurus.
They're the ones with the horns.
I think so.
Deeply troubling.
Deeply troubling, but hey, they're not around anymore as far as I can tell.
You're safe, Earth.
Doesn't mean I don't want to meet one. If you find a thesaurus, you let me know. And Freemasons as well. You just hit up old Herc.
Did we provide the means of having listeners reach out to us? Has that been clarified?
I don't think we figured that out with the producer yet, but it is coming.
I don't want to say it live on air, but I'll say it, Producer's been dragging his toes a little bit. I think he's got a lot going on in life.
There's a lot going on.
Don't look at me like that.
I
can't rip someone?
Where you see back there?
I can't make a joke. He's smiling.
He loves it. He doesn't care that we're dragging him. He loves it.
We're just, as you would say, shooting the shit.
That's exactly what we say. If we say his name live on air, though, he might kill us. I think that's, from what I understand,
it might be a religious thing.
Might be a religious thing.
It's a deeply sacred thing.
For now, he is producer, and he is just winking at me. He's making a gesture with his hand that can only be described as contentious.
It's a word a thesaurus might say.
Yeah. On to further news. We are back in arts and culture, celebrities and such, but not on Earth. We are back to the wider galaxy of the Zarlothian Empire. Interplanetary superstar Perry Moonshoes fell down 4 flights of stairs while greeting fans at the Sanctum of Stairs on Volo Prime. This is the latest in a string of celebrity tumbles. Officials suspect foul play. When asked about the incident by the press, Perry had this to say. Let's roll that clip.
Can somebody help me, please? Please, I think I cracked a rib. Please, you're not just gonna stand around here and you're not gonna help me. Please give me a hand. I think I peed myself. Please, somebody help me.
Quick recoveries to Perry Moonshoes.
Oh, Perry. Have you been to the Sanctum of Stairs?
I've seen it from afar. I haven't actually walked up to it and experienced climbing those stairs. They are steep, though.
Lovely place.
It's
Now,
beautiful, but it is steep.
It is steep, and I love Perry as much as the next person.
Oh, we all love Perry.
Everyone loves Perry. Iconic. The feet are shallow on Perry, and I don't want to victim blame, because I'm not a victim blamer.
Okay, what you about to say, though?
Well, what I'm about to say isn't victim blaming, because I said it's not.
That's how it works up here.
I'm not blaming the victim if I say in advance that I'm not blaming the victim.
That's right. I'm tracking. You know what? You could say anything you wanted right now, and
He's
there
got
would be
stubbed
no...
feet. Perry has stubbed feet. He has little stubbed feet, and that's why I fell down the stairs.
Perry, we're not victim blaming you. Your tiny feet may have contributed to your nasty spill.
No, Perry walks over a grate. He's going to take a shot right to his crotch.
Oh, Perry.
It's stubbed feet. It's just too smooth. It's the way of the world.
And that ain't nothing wrong with you, Perry. It's just what's wrong with your feet. It's what's wrong with your feet. Can we take a moment to appreciate the Live from Zarloth interview team just getting on that scene. They were ready to go.
Right and ready.
That seems like that interview was just hot right in the action.
We got breaking news, and then seconds later, they had a microphone right in the face.
When you say breaking news, it's
I'm freshly broken.
Freshly broken.
Sizzling in the pan.
Yeah, like a Glorbonian on his 15th birthday.
When they're at their ripest.
Yeah, coming soup.
In the vein of incredibly prompt reporters, however,
Yep.
we go now to our weather update with our field reporter, Daniel Stormy,
All right.
who has been tracking the deadly gas typhoons on Bacchus 19. How's that weather, Daniel? Daniel?
Petrifying, Ron Spackman. The weather is petrifying. I am Petra D. In my 758 years of weather reporting, I've never changed my pants more in a single week than I have in these last few days. Not only are the typhoons 3 miles high and capable of combustion at any moment, they appear to be sentient. The typhoons have the ability to select what they terrorize and appear to be targeting lower-class housing establishments. When asked for statements on why their prejudices against the projects, the typhoons stole my top hat and called me a bitch. An actor has left this reporter very sad.
I am very sorry to hear that, Daniel.
You know, Daniel, I remember when your grandfather was a baby, Ronald. I nursed him for a few weeks while your great-grandmother was exiled for her affair with my own wife.
That's more than enough. Thank you. Many thanks to our field reporter, Daniel Stormy.
Thank you, Daniel.
Poor man.
Oh, Daniel, we could just not be more grateful for our teams on the ground going about things. Those typhoons sound like they are a piece of work, and I cannot believe how petrified you are. I feel like you've made it abundantly clear where you stand, and I feel like you've given us a really good look into the lives and the circumstances of everybody affected, and it's just, it was graphic. It was graphic. There's no way around that, but sometimes real news is going to be graphic.
In the vein of real news, I feel like it's important to also point out fake news, and Daniel and I go way back. It was a little bit of a little friendly inside joke, I'm sure, when he was referencing my great grandmother and her affair. Just a little bit of inside joshing, nothing more.
Depending on the name of the grandparents involved, there might have been some inside joshing.
Thesaurus.
Thesaurus, that's right.
I'm onto this. That's the double and on breaking
news. In today's news, the Earth documentary Interstellar has a scene at the end where Earthling hero Coop walks into a room with an old human woman.
This isn't news.
Who says some stuff that I don't remember. What do you think about that, Ron?
All right. Well, I feel it incredibly important to once again clarify a fictional piece of work, incredibly accurate.
Wait, what are you saying?
I don't believe Coop is a real individual.
Ron, I don't mean to call you a liar, but Coop is the bravest man that has ever walked the face of Earth. I saw him crying watching those videos of his children. You can't fake that.
I suppose not.
That's real. That's real emotion.
I'm just saying maybe this Coop was born in a tube like I was, and as I was crafted for news, Coop might have been crafted for crying about his kids.
I'm sorry, you were crafted for news.
I was made in a tube for news.
There's a little bit to unpack there.
What's so strange about the...
Ron, I've heard of Gomodians, of course, being
Yes.
bred in tubes, but I had
Yes.
never heard that they were chemically balanced for particular jobs, particular roles in society. You're telling me that is all Gomodians, or is that just your family?
I feel like a lot of... Okay. Certain less affluent homes crafted in tubes, but they aren't able to afford the proper spices and chemicals that go into the tube
Spices, yeah.
to flavor the baby for a specific task. I was flavored for the express purpose of delivering news from behind a desk. I was built to do it alone, so I'm adapting a little bit on the fly,
With
but
all Herc.
yes, it was a lot of pepper and some human hair,
Human hair.
rosemary, and baby carrots.
So the baby carrots. I assume that each spice or each ingredient affects some part of your personality or how you go about doing what you do. What did the baby carrots influence?
They made it where I have 5 eyes that see very well.
I said carrots. I've heard carrots are good for your eyes.
They're also good for giving you more eyes.
Is it each carrot ends up as an eye, or is it just like a certain amount of carrot is going to create it? If I had 10 carrots, would I have had 10 eyes?
I'd honestly have to ask my mother how many carrots were thrown in my tube.
Should ask your grandmother how many carrots she got from old Daniel's, what's his face, his relative. That
It was
did
an
some
inside
things.
joke. And Interstellar is not a documentary. I say this as someone who actually saw a documentary this very weekend. I saw an excellent documentary.
Well, what was it? If
it,
you're
was
so
called,
sure.
it was called Thomas and the Magic Railroad. And it featured incredible creatures of unparalleled beauty, the likes I've never seen.
Well, now I'm intrigued. What kind of creatures?
Deeply sexual beings.
Was Thomas a sexual being, or was it more the Magic Railroad being what he was?
Well, Thomas was one of them. I would say Thomas might have been a 7.
Could you give me a brief recap of the story of Thomas and the Magic
Yes,
Railroad? Just
yes.
so I haven't seen this documentary. I'd like
course.
to understand what is going on with these sexual beings.
Yeah, so it's a historical account. There's a unseen eldritch being named Sir Topham Hatt.
Topham.
Topham.
All right.
I presume named after the raging fiery planet on the
Topham.
verge of our system.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's this clear and abundant fear for the return of this god-like creature who can only be communicated with via a small box on a wall, a telephone in Earth terms and such.
right.
But a handful of humans are actually in this culture. They're side beings. They seem to have their own petty squabbles.
So you're saying there are some racially motivated storylines through this documentary. There are the humans, and then there's some kind of stronger being.
There's definitely a racial hierarchy. There's a lot
all right.
going on. Because there's
Okay.
the eldritch being of Sir Topham.
Right, Topham.
There's the humans. And then there's clearly the goddess-like creatures, which I presume were designed for seduction. And yet when they speak, they elicit so much more.
So these beings are clearly eliciting feelings. So what is Thomas a human? Is Thomas one of these oddly sexual beings that is just like moving things along? What's the story here? What's the story?
The face of a human.
The sexual beings have the face of a human, or they
The
just
face of a
are the
human.
face of a human?
They have the face of a human, but it is subtly implied that they only are temporarily communicating to us via this face, that they could use anything as their face. I assume if I were watching the Gomodian version, they'd have the face of a beautiful Gomodian creature.
So they are taking on the form that is going to best represent themselves to a species that they are communicating with, so that they're not afraid, so that they
For the purpose of seduction, yes.
That's right. Okay.
So, in this case, I would give everything I own for a Gomodian copy and a night alone in the Bujmak Hotel, if you
Ooh.
understand what I'm saying.
That is the Red District for all you listeners who might be mentally inclined.
Mentally inclined.
So they can picture it in their brains without actually having seen that.
Because when you say
quadrant.
mentally inclined, it sounds like for those of you who want to think.
I mean, if you want to think about it, I'm not going to stop you. I guess that does make you mentally inclined. Physically inclined would mean that they could actually go there, and I'm just not sure that for humans that's really a possibility right now.
Might be a little tricky.
It'd be tricky. It'd be
no
tricky
oxygen.
there. No air.
The producer is telling me to get on to the next bit of news, but frankly, I would be remiss if I did not talk about Lady.
Who's Lady?
Now, Lady is one of these creatures, these...
Sexual beings.
Simply put, yes.
Yeah.
She's purple-ish, maybe.
I like a purple.
But the hues weren't just purple, they were more. There was something pinkish.
Pinkish purple.
Yes.
See, this sounds like a deeply erotic experience you in this documentary.
It was frankly almost more than I can handle, because clearly it's meant for you to have feelings toward this specific being. They called it a train.
A train.
An homage to your transportation devices of Earth.
That's right.
Clearly so much more. And this documentary showcased Lady in peril at multiple points.
Well, what happens at the end?
Another equally sexual being named Diesel 10, but he wields a claw.
A claw. He sounds downright evil and sexual.
A weapon of destruction or pleasure.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Why would you?
I mean, there are some creatures out there in this universe with claws that do some crazy things.
Mighty damage. And to a human, I can only imagine that Diesel 10's claw would be incredibly imposing.
Probably.
But for certain creatures like the carnations.
Carnations?
Well, they're made of metal.
Well, they could handle it. Yeah, they'd be all right.
They love it. It's a dream. They enjoy pain. All that to say, Diesel 10... fallen from grace, a Lucifer to humans, as it were.
That's right. That gets into all that deep stuff you got going on Earth. We read about it. It wasn't in Interstellar, but somebody told me about it.
Implied in Interstellar. I view Coop as a deeply Christian man.
Yeah, I think that's probably real.
So, producer, I'll 2 seconds.
If anybody knows Coop personally, I would very much like to meet him. That's all I'll say.
And all I'll say before moving on to this next article is, well, frankly, if there's any being across the cosmos who bears any resemblance or tone to that of Lady from Thomas and the Magic Railroad, I implore you, by whatever means, find me, because I will be doing all in my power to find you. Breaking news! We have an update. This is a fresh bulletin, a red hot off the press.
Red hot. All right, let's hear it.
All right, where's that? All right. We have just received an update on the Brogan hostage crisis.
Oh.
For those unfamiliar, 7 Brogan athletes were taken hostage by a group of terrorists during the Thailand Spring Games, roughly 34 years ago. Law enforcement has had the terrorists surrounded in a greenhouse for the entirety of those 34 years. Several graduations, weddings, and funerals have been held at the active crime scene to keep the area secure while still allowing enforcement to experience key life events. We're hearing now, though, that there is now an 8th hostage as seen through one of the sniper scopes. A little baby boy has been born to one of the athletes.
Aww,
just beautiful. Our congratulations.
That's beautiful.
To them.
Congratulations.
Beautiful.
That's really wonderful.
We in the studio. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like that's a good one to have here near the end of the show. It's important to be reminded of the importance of life and that, good things are always going to happen. Good things are going to come along.
Every mushroom cloud has a silver lining.
That's what
that
they
is
say.
The euphemism, as they say on Earth.
Like a thesaurus would say.
That's right.
I struggle a bit with thesaurus. It's kind of my lateral list.
It's frankly just beautiful to have a day that, well, is mostly positive news. Maybe not the deadly typhoons, but it's
Everything else has been pretty good.
yeah. It's a lovely day in the cosmos, and
It's a beautiful
we're
day.
glad to
Nothing
share it
could
with
go
you.
wrong.
Earth.
Nothing could go wrong. Well, one thing might go wrong. I do have another story here. This is actually from Zarlof 1, where we are now, the shining center of the Zarlofian Empire. Artie Bumble, a Zarlofian official, was arrested yesterday on the basis of tax evasion. His sector is reeling in the face of such an unexpected betrayal of Zarlofian values. When asked why he would do such a thing, he said this, quote, "I don't know how to do them." End quote. Artie, just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you shouldn't give it a try.
It's important to give it a try.
It's important to give things a try.
All kinds of things.
Lady from the Magic Railroad. I know Ron wants to give that a try.
I'll give it a try.
Mm.
If the stars saw it fit.
Ron is having a moment there with himself. I feel like it's important to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, back to Artie. No, that's my fault.
No. I was made for news. I can put feelings aside for the news.
Baby carrots and pepper.
News. Artie, do you listen to the show?
Artie, I really hope you're listening to this show wherever
Artie,
you are.
Artie, say something.
Artie,
do you listen to the show?
Artie, we're. Oh wait, no, we can't hear Artie. All those baby carrots have given you some more brains there, Ron. Artie is in fact in the deepest dungeons of Zarlof 1.
Lady.
Uh-oh. Hey, Ron, where are we going?
Where's Artie?
Where are we?
I'm back. I'm fine. I'm all right. Everything is well. Everything's superior. Artie himself, as many know, I had a couple sprigs of rosemary specifically flavored to learn about specific hierarchies within our own government, and
That's the rosemary that does that. It gives you some political knowledge.
that's how it goes.
I need to take a big old bite of rosemary.
Give it a try.
Give it a little.
All that to say, I have a rich understanding of our system and the extensive measures we have taken to avoid corruption on Zarlof. There is a reason the Empire continues to grow instead of decaying
That's
from the
right.
inside. It is because of the relentless qualities that permeate through our souls.
That's right.
Justice reigns supreme in the mind of the Zarlofian.
There's going to be justice on Zarlof, baby. There's just no way around it. Being part of the Zarlofian Empire means that you are going to be treated well after the initial couple weeks of being conquered and having your lives completely turned upside down.
Yeah, you will be hazed a little bit.
You're going to be hazed, but it's all right. You're going to turn out just A-okay, baby girl. There's nothing wrong with being part of the glorious Zarlofian Empire.
No, I mean the hazing, the rough transitional period is what attaches you to the idea of the Zarlofs. When the Gomodian Empire was captured and absolved, now joyously we celebrate it now. But
That's right.
about what would have been 900 years ago for the Gomodians, for the first 2 weeks, we all had to strip down to our underwear and run in the cold.
That's right. That's pretty common, I think.
They would
That's
yell
something.
things at us. We had to drink a smoothie full of things that they put into it, and they'd laugh at us for a while. But 2 weeks later, it was done. We were fine.
Yeah. The Glorbon smoothie was kind of a mix of different like pieces of space rats. We had a little bit of comet dust in there, and there was something delicious. There was something delectable. I can barely put my little Glorbonian thumb on it, my ripped Glorbon thumb.
Did they put Primus Plasma in yours as well?
It tasted a bit like Primus Plasma. That's probably what
there's
it is.
definitely some Primus Plasma in ours. That was
It kind of has this like the texture isn't too bad, but the flavor is
not
a little oily.
it's a little olivey.
It's going to give you a little olivey, oily flavor. That's something you Earthlings might understand. Well, with that, I'm sure you Earthlings are enjoying your smoothies as we speak, as you are still in the first few weeks of being adjusted. We're glad you're here. This has been live from Zarlof. We're going to say good night. Wait.
And I'm Ron Spackman.
No, wait. Hold on, Ron. I'm getting something. Wait.
Oh.
What? Send it through. All right, sorry, Earthlings. We have one last breaking story for you tonight. I'm getting word that the bodies of Tedros and John Bolius, the former hosts of Live from Zarlof, have been found. Their death has been ruled a homicide. And there's more. Carved into the chest of both victims, there is, well, seems to be some kind of message, something very macabre. Macabre, as they say it.
Well, spit it out. Herc, please.
Carved into the chest of Tedros and John Bolius is the message. More at 11.
Someone cut this mic off.
Cut
I've
it.
had enough.
Let's cut.
Cut this. Cut this.
This has been Live from Zarloth, a Shoulder Knife production. Herc Dercules was played by Joey Faggion. Ron Spackman was played by Andrew Faggion. This episode featured special guests Catherine Faggion as Harry Moonshoes and John Paul Fox as Daniel Stormy. Art design by Bernadette Schwegel. Audio production by Joey Faggion. Theme music by Andrew Faggion. Want to keep up to date with Shoulder Knife and never miss a new episode? Follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow Live from Zarloth on Spotify and wherever you listen to your podcasts. To support Shoulder Knife and have access to future exclusive content, join our Patreon. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.
Many thanks to our field reporter. That's more than enough, Daniel. Thank you. You are Daniel.